What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to give you an overview of my new Corvette C8. Love this car. I'm going to go over some of the things I like about it, some of the things I don't like about it. Actually owning the car. A lot of people who have done the reviews on this car actually don't own it. They're going to some dealership or borrowing it and doing a review. I've owned it now for a while. I've done a lot of mods to it, and I'm going to go over all the stuff, what I like, how I like it as a daily driver, all the stuff that you would want to know if you actually own this car from someone who's owned it for a while and drives it every single day. So let's get into it. Okay guys, I'm just going to give you a quick walk around of the car, let you see it from the different angles. It's really not a bad angle on this car. I'm going to go over some of the things I did. Obviously you guys can see the Vossen wheels and the ACS composite side skirts there. So I'm going to go over some of those things with you one by one, but once again I want to just give you a quick walk around to show you the lines of this car. It really has beautiful lines. A lot of people say it looks very Italian. It looks, you know, has that more supercar look. Definitely a departure from the original Corvette styling, that's for sure. I'm going to give you my opinion because I've owned a C7 and now own the C8. I'm also going to give you my opinion on how I feel about the differences between the two. All right, so let's go into some of the mods that I've done. Okay, first things first, you can see that I have gotten new wheels. So these are the Vossen, I believe, HF5 wheels. The wheels that came on the Corvette were those stock. They were the, you know, they had the granite flake center with the silver ring. I was not a fan of that, and I wanted also the bigger wheels. So as you see here, these wheels, the wheels that come stock are 19 up front and 20 in the back, and these are 20 up front and 21 in the back. So these Vossen HF5s, just a beautiful wheel. I kind of went back and forth between a couple of different styles, but that's one of the first things I got done to the car. And these wheels were available in gloss black and the carbon flash. The carbon flash on this car, it's hard to see on video, but it's a black with a, you know, a little bit of a silver flake in there, and that color, carbon flash, is actually what's on the mirrors. The side skirt I ordered, the ACS composite side skirt, came in carbon flash, so that had carbon flash. This part you see here is also carbon flash, and the rear spoiler is also carbon flash on. Like I said, I don't know if you can see that metallic there. It's really bright out today. It's like 100 degrees, and you see the carbon flash here going around the window to see into the engine bay, which we'll get into in a little bit. So a lot of people think that's actually black. It's not black. So that is that carbon flash. And now I got the tint on the windows. I believed they did 30 on the windshield and maybe 20 on the sides. And that definitely helps cool the cabin down quite a bit. It's all this on the front. Here you see all that. That's all carbon flash metallic as well. Nothing, didn't do anything to the front. So the whole car has been wrapped in the XPEL clear bra. So you have that on the entire car. And then that is some new XPEL that you guys probably know about. I don't. It has this ceramic coat embedded in it. So you don't have to ceramic coat. It's like the clear bra is ceramic impregnated or something. So it actually gives the car a great shine. This thing never looks dull. It's absolutely unbelievable. So so that's right out of the gate. Those are the things I did. I did the tint. I did the ACS composite side skirt. Of course, I did the wheels, the Vossen HF5 wheels, and then of course these exhaust tips, which completely changed the car. C7 was much louder, had a throatier sound. This car is much more quiet, and you almost don't hear the exhaust at all when you're inside of it. Some people like that, some people don't like that. really, really up to you, but definitely, if you're expecting a car with a loud exhaust note, you definitely don't expect that out of here, unless you go aftermarket on the exhaust. Beautiful headlights they did here. See if I get these to flash. And another nice thing is when you lock and unlock the car, you have the power fold mirrors, which is a nice feature. You're parking somewhere. Try not to park near anyone, but you never know. Okay, the engine bay is just incredible. You have the carbon on the sides. Just a beautiful design here. If you guys have ever seen the Ferrari, obviously very similar. We all know where they got this from. As far as the storage here, they say you could fit 2 golf bags. I don't golf. I do real workouts, and I don't play golf. So they say you can fit 2 golf bags here. I don't know. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I fit, 3 or 4 backpacks back here. Goes pretty deep down there. It's okay. It's but it's definitely not going to fit beach chairs or anything if you want to take this to the beach or anything like that. You see here, you have the magnetic ride control. When you see that, that's a magnetic ride control. It's unbelievable. Pretty cool. And this is a beautiful setup here as far as how they designed this mid-engine. And it definitely, when compared to the C7, this car handles completely different. The C7, you stepped on the gas, and every time you stepped on the gas, you were wondering if you're going to stay on the road or fly off the road. And this thing is glued to the road. So just a nice view of that engine compartment there. All right, now we'll go. Oh, and people ask how does it get wet in here and water. I've driven this in the rain. Get a little bit of water draining out the sides, but other than that, it stays pretty clear, pretty nice in here. So it's no issues there for those asking. And these clips here, right there and right there, that's where the roof comes off. The roof panel comes off from obviously here to here. You could take that off and put that right back there. But just know that when you put that back there, you kind of lose. You could store some stuff under it, but you lose a lot of the storage in the back when you do take that roof off. Something a lot of people ask me as well. So just so you know, that's that. It's nice. You have the slow close as well here. So when you close it, you just kind of push down a little bit, and it sucks it closed like that. And this is a beautiful view here of the back of this Corvette. I think the view from the back is probably my favorite on this car. And you guys see the camera up there, which for the mirror, the rearview mirror, gives you that HD video in the rearview mirror. It's actually cool. I actually don't even use the regular mirror anymore. I only use the video because the video is pretty cool. The only thing is when you have people behind you, which obviously happens all the time, and they have the LED lights, the LEDs flash just like they do on video. So when you see people doing car reviews and the car has the headlights on, you see the LEDs flickering. Well, obviously they're not flickering on the car itself, but they're flickering on the video because of the frame rate or something like that. Some video expert told me about that. But anyway, that's something that happens when you have the video in the rearview camera, which I'll show you in a second. One of the things I really liked and changed the look of the car with this side skirt. ACS composite side skirt came matched in the paint carbon flash. It really changed the look of the car. It's actually kind of hard to imagine the car without that on it, but believe it or not, it came without it on it. The C7 came stock with the side skirt. That was really nice. I'll try to throw a picture up if I can. Probably not though. And this really needed this. So this there's a couple of ones. This is the AV1, I believe. There's an AV3 and maybe something else, but this one I felt had the best look and gave the sleekest look to it. So all right, we're gonna head inside the car now, check out some of the interior. Hey guys, just want to hop in here real quick to say thank you for watching this video and to remind you to head over to 221btactical.com today to check out all of our incredible gear and merchandise. Listen, I started this company in my little tiny garage with no heat in New Jersey because I was just sick and tired of buying gear and apparel that would just fall apart after a few weeks or a few months. And I was spending my hard-earned money on this stuff. That was just unacceptable. And then on top of that, you would call up these companies to say, hey, my stuff fell apart, and the customer service was horrendous. I built 221B Tactical on 2 foundations: quality goods made with the best materials and superior customer service. And that's what's taken us from my little garage in New Jersey to a worldwide corporation. We're taking care of professionals and civilians alike in all 50 states and over 75 countries. Over 250 retail locations around the world proudly offer 221B Tactical goods and gear. So Whether you are an outdoorsman or just a weekend warrior, there's something on 221btactical.com today for you. So head over to 221btactical.com, browse around, it's free, and you will find something to help you on your mission, no matter what that mission may be. So head over to 221btactical.com now, and now back to the video. Okay, so getting in, you have the nice Stingray there, nice sill, the seats heated, ventilated, got the carbon fiber on the seat there, beautiful offset white stitching. They just did a beautiful job. Steering wheel, you see, you have the D steering wheel, and it really is a comfortable car, and you really feel like you're in a cockpit when you're inside the car. Nice offset stitching here. You have the Bose system, beautiful on the door with this brushed aluminum look, and this is how you get in and out by pushing this button that releases the door, lock, unlock, automatic up, down windows, and then right there are your buttons to pop the front and the rear. So just so you guys know, just so we go back to the front is a trunk as well, and the button toward the front pops that. And I'm going to show you this before we go inside the car, what you have here. And here you have, once again, a bit of storage. Now this storage is really deep. I've gotten cases of water from Costco, cases of club soda. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm going to put my whole arm here, and you guys can see it's down to my elbow. So that far down, and I don't know how many inches that is, but it's pretty far. So you can actually fit, I feel like if you're strategic, you can fit almost as much as in the back and the front here. This is just deeper, where the back is more shallow but wider. But really nice storage up here. You can get a decent sized suitcase in here, believe it or not. And you have that little net as well to keep your stuff from flying around. Charging port there, in case you ever want to sit inside here and charge your phone or something. I don't know who would do that. Okay, so, and this isn't the automatic close, so you actually have to push that closed. Okay, now we're going to go back to the inside, and we're going to get in here. One of the things people ask, and I will say, if you are not that agile, getting in and out of this is going to be a little tough. So before I get in, I'm going to show you the back view, the glass there. That's where you charge your phone, believe it or not, right there. You put your phone in that slot. I think it's the worst spot to have your phone charging. That's a speaker up there, right there. And let's get inside and show you the inside. Okay, so now we're inside the car. As you guys can see, it is truly like a cockpit in here, which is really, really nice. There's a couple of things I like about it, a couple of things I don't like about it, so I'm going to go over some of those really quick for you. One of the things I do like is the comfort. It is very comfortable once you're seated in the seat. You got your seat position. People ask, you know, do I have to have the seat all the way back? No, I don't. I'm in a very comfortable position right now, a little over 6'2", 220 pounds, and the seat actually is up a bit because if I put it all the way back, I won't be able to reach the pedal. So, guys, you see the D-ring steering wheel here as well. So, this is how you shift, park. You pull up for reverse. You pull this back for drive. It doesn't go into gear unless your seatbelt is fastened, so just keep that in mind. And this is kind of a hand rest kind of thing here. It kind of looks like a old school mouse, but underneath it here you see the dial, and that's where you adjust your drive mode. So when you turn this, you'll see your drive mode switch there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and you'll see weather, and then you could set your custom mode. Then there's touring and there's sport. I usually drive in sport, and you guys can't hear it, but when you go from touring to sport, the different modes, the exhaust note changes. And so these buttons up here, they give you your traction control. This raises and lowers the front end, so you could set in the memory. It memorizes certain locations via GPS coordinates. So if you have a spot that you want to raise the front of the car so it doesn't scrape, you don't scrape that front splitter, you could raise and lower it, and it remembers it. So you only have to do it once. You don't have to do it every time you go there. And then that's your cameras. This is probably the nicest camera system I've seen in any vehicle I've ever owned. So I'm going to leave that at that because other people have done that and killed that. This is for, by the way, when you want to go into manual mode and use the paddle shifters here, which are excellent. They are incredibly fast shifting. So let's get to the center stack here. This is something people love and hate. I absolutely love it. It's very convenient. You'll see that all the controls you need for your temperature and your cooled seats, heated seats. This is to sync the passenger and driver temperature. Hit the auto mode, where you want the ventilation to go, fan speed, power for the whole everything. You just turn it all down. AC, your defrost, and then now the bottom side is your passenger heated seats, cool seats, and then the passenger can control their temperature independently, though. Shout out to Jocko Fuel. And that's it. So the issue I have with this cup holder is it's nice, it is fine. However, if you want to, when you drive, they designed this, like I said, this is kind of like a little bit of like a mouse almost. So when I drive, it's actually very nice to kind of just have my hand resting here while I'm driving. And the reality is, if you have anything here at all, you cannot do that. This completely restricts that. So you see here, it's kind of like weird. So once again, this is like something that people who did the review of this car wouldn't know, because they don't actually own the car. They just went to the dealership or borrowed the car, and they didn't put a drink in here and try to drive around. And if you drive around with any kind of drink, you know, I have my shaker thing from, you know, on the way to the gym and on the way back from the gym, things like that. The other thing is, this is kind of a little, I don't want to say flimsy, but inside of here, things move around. Like the way that this is set up, you see the cup holder actually is part of the lid. You see this part of the cup holder. So if you have something in there like your wallet and you go to close this, it kind of catches and doesn't allow this to close. So you kind of have to like take your, like I said, this is something that no one would know unless they had it. But so this is the little thing that goes on the back of your phone, the Apple Wallet, right? So you'll see if I have it there like that and I try to go close this, you see how it's getting stuck and moving it. I think it can probably close with this in there. Oh no, you see how, there you go. It can't close. So you have to just kind of, if you have anything in here at all and you want it, you're getting out of your car, you want to just kind of hide it from everyone's view, you kind of have to go like sideways and finagle it, and you see it'll fall down, and now it's stuck in there. Now you can't get it out. So now you got to play this game where you got to kind of half close it and then kind of fish it out. It's guys, this is total first world problem, but if you're serious about buying this car, I'm just showing you some of the things you deal with as you own this car, and that's one of them. So I've come to almost not want to have a drink when I'm in this car, because you can't really like drive, and it feels weird. So that's one of the things I did want to share with you. Passenger side, all good, beautiful seats, by the way, again. And then same thing for the passenger. You're gonna have to let people know how to get out of the car. They don't realize that that button right here is what you need to push. So you always have to tell people that that's what you need to push. Nice thing here, I don't know if this is on all the models, but I know on the 3LT, the passenger gets the memory seat as well. So that's a nice thing there. These are the vents here, and they actually work really, really well. They're that's kind of the new thing in all these cars. I think it started with Tesla, but now all these cars are doing it. And this little thing to adjust the flow and where it goes and all that stuff, a little flimsy. There's a little button here that you push that drops your glove box down, and that is really it for this side. I think they have a little storage on the door here, and that's it. No storage here, no plug that you see sometimes there. A lot of people ask, okay, so where is like the power to plug your stuff in? And that is all inside here in this, inside your armrest, which I really am not a fan of, because it's hard to access and it's hard to get all the wires to come out of there, and it's just a pain. It would be nice if they had like an exposed, I don't know, something here or something right here that you could charge, but they don't. And I don't know. Really quick, just so you see that on the passenger side floor, there's one on the driver side floor as well. That's in case there's no power to the door. That's the emergency handle to, it's almost the eject handle, I call that. Up top here, you have the basic stuff. This is where your hazard light is, which is good to know in case. And then you have your OnStar stuff. And then, oh, by the way, this is the video camera mirror. So this is what the mirror, what it looks like looking out the back. There's zero visibility, zero. When you look over your shoulder, that's what you see here. So if you have someone in your blind spot and you can't, I mean, there's blind spot monitoring in the windows, in the mirrors rather, but if you look over your shoulder, forget it. That's what you see right there when you look over your shoulder, nothing. So you need to have you almost need to have the blind spot monitoring in this car. The visibility is horrible, but when you go here, that's the view out the back, but when you go to the camera, that's the view with the camera, which is really, really nice. And even at nighttime, it's crazy. It's super high definition. So, and then these are how you get the roof panel off right here, and then this handle here, and the whole thing comes off, and you can throw that in the trunk, as I told you. Steering wheel is great. You have the heated steering wheel button here, all your voice controls. As you see here, the steering wheel is a D shape, which is kind of nice. A little odd to get used to a little bit, but it's very nice. And then you have the different displays on the screen here. I'm not going to go through all that because everyone's done that, but I like to keep it in this mode here. I think this is a screen for track. And then over here, you have the different heads-up display options. Yeah, you can move it up and down, and then change the brightness and change the style. And I don't know if you guys can see that, probably right there. Yeah, there you go. So that's a heads-up display. So you could actually change the way the heads-up display looks. You change it to that, and obviously it's blinking because the camera, it doesn't blink in real life like that. And that's the one I like to usually keep it in, and that's the one that gives you more of the race look and feel. So you have to push it to that every time you get in the car. If that's the one you like, that's one you have to kind of go to that. It doesn't remember it, which is a little bit of annoying, but that's really it. And then you have also the I forgot to mention when you have the backup, that's full time, and then when you have the backup camera, you have a beautiful backup camera there. You got the Z button, which, by the way, if anyone's ever owned a 370Z, this Z looks really familiar. And then when you push the Z button, it's kind of like the M button for anyone who's ever owned an M5. This is a button you could preset to have all your settings that you want for when you push that button. So like I said, those of you who had an M5, you could set your M modes. On the new M5, you have 2 M buttons on the steering wheel, but it just throws a car into an insane mode. So that Z mode you see lit up here, that is for, you have that preset. You have your cruise settings, everything that it's all basic, and you have your audio volume here, and then you have your other settings to switch through your presets there. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, I don't want to bore you guys, but I wanted to give you a quick inside view and give you this cockpit view. And now I'm going to go into actually driving it and what it's like to daily drive this. Oh, by the way, some people ask what this is. That's actually what I use to hold my phone, because as you see here, there's nowhere good to put your phone. Usually you could put your phone in a cup holder here, but here your phone would be sticking up to here. Once again, gets in the way. So this little magnetic thing works great with the newer iPhones. Just stick the phone there, and that's it. You kind of actually need that in this car because there's really nowhere else to put your phone. Okay, so now I'm actually using that little magnetic thing I just showed you to record, which is nice. And I do a lot of the videos from the car using that. So another great, I don't even know what brand it is. If I figure it out, I'll throw it in the comments below. Okay, so how is it to daily drive the Corvette C8 and have it as a daily driver? It is, I'm going to give you my fuel economy right now so you guys can have an idea of what, that's the first thing people ask. And I do a mix of around town and city and highway. And I think the last time I checked, I can't pull it up now, but it was something like 20-something miles per gallon, which wasn't bad. 22, 23, it really wasn't bad at all. And I don't drive it like an idiot. I'm a grown man. Once in a while I get on it, but I'm not going crazy, killing this thing, burning the tires off of it. Those days are done. So those days are done. I never had those days, even in my younger days. So fuel economy is actually, I think, pretty great. I really enjoy how fuel efficient, considering my other vehicles are a Raptor, a Denali, a 2500, a lifted Wrangler with 39. So this is probably the most fuel efficient car I own, believe it or not. And it's great fuel wise. The tank's a little small. I don't know how many gallons it is. I'll try to look it up post-production, but I feel like I'm going through gas pretty quick, so it's definitely not a big fuel tank. And if you're getting 23 miles per gallon and you're going through gas pretty good, I mean, it must be a smaller tank in here. Like I said, I'll try to figure that out. But when I'm driving it every day, like some weeks I don't drive it every single day, I'm driving some of the other cars, but when the weeks that I am driving this every day, I go through the gas pretty quickly. And like I said, it's not a fuel economy thing, it's just a fuel tank size thing. As far as the having it as you're getting in and out of it every day, if you are, I don't want to say if you're old, but because you might be younger but have like some little disability, or you might just not be as agile, but getting in it, this car is low. Now it's not quite as low as the C7, but it is low. I feel like the C7 you were on the ground. This, you're just slightly off the ground, but you are still in a negative plane when you're getting out. So, you know, most cars you're on an even plane. When you step out, let me say your femur is even, and you just kind of lift yourself out. Of course, from the trucks, you're stepping down, so your femur is going on a downward out to the ground, very easy to get out. This car, your femur is canted backwards down into the car. So you're almost doing a one-legged squat, one-legged deadlift, one-legged squat, getting out of this car every time you get out. So if you have a physical condition, a physical ailment, whatever it may be, just know that if you're going to be using this car every single day, like I do on occasion, you're going to get in and out a bunch of times throughout the course of the day, running errands, going to the gym, whatever, going to your office. It could be a little tough on you. I'm okay with it, but I know that I've seen people get in and out of my car, and they're like, oh, this is pretty low. I'm like, man, you should have seen the C7. So this is probably, besides the C7, the most difficult to get in and out of from a just everyday standpoint. You got to kind of lift yourself out, and if you got a bad knee or something like that, it's gonna be tough. So that's the other thing I want to let people know. Once you're in the car, obviously it's very comfortable. The seat has nice bolsters. It holds you in place. If you're a little bit bigger, I would caution you, because these bolsters don't move. They're not adjustable like the M5 or the 7 Series. So if you're a little heavy and a little husky and you're wider than these bolsters, they move, you got a little bit of movement, but they're not like major. So I would just caution that. So definitely want to sit in, if you're thinking about getting the car, you want to sit in it for a while and really get a good feel of it. Once you're in the seat, got the heated, the cooled, everything like that all works great. Front visibility is great. You have a nice big windshield, sloping windshield, and of course out the sides is fine. Like I mentioned before, the 45s to the rear where your blind spots are is absolutely terrible. And then looking out the rear with the regular mirror in regular mirror mode, normal mirror, is pretty much non-existent. It's horrible. So you almost have to use that camera in that rear view mirror I showed you. That's why it's always in that camera mode. It's almost like you can't not have it in that mode. And like I said before, the only issue is at night when you see headlights, and even during the day when you see headlights, the headlights flicker like you see on videos. That's really it, the LEDs. As far as drivability, it handles great. It has insane acceleration. You guys seen the videos out there about the acceleration. It's stupid acceleration. And for the handling, I'm not ripping it around a track or anything like that, but for normal roads, getting on the highway, getting off the highway, normal in-town turns, on and off the interstate, it's unbelievable. It definitely is among the top 3 vehicles as far as handling I've ever owned. My my E60 M5 was probably the most insane acceleration and the insane handling combination I've ever had in a vehicle. If you guys have ever driven the E60 M5, you know what I'm talking about. But this is close. Not quite, but this is pretty close. And the paddle shifters, like I mentioned, shift incredibly. The upshifts, the downshifts, everything. So from that standpoint, it's great. It's a great car from that aspect of driving it. It feels very nice in here. Feels like you're in a little bit of like a fighter pilot cockpit, which is nice. And even the passengers, I really don't ever have passengers, but the couple passengers that have been in here, they say the same thing. They're very comfortable. The seats are very comfortable for them, and they just you got all the creature comforts. They got good ventilation in front of them. They have the heated seats. They have the cooled seats. The seat kind of hugs them nicely, so they feel very very comfortable. Your passengers will be very comfortable. Of course, you can only have one passenger ever, but this is not a car for if you are like you got like a family, unless you have this as your secondary vehicle, and you have your family hauler outside of this. This is just your toy. You got to make sure when you go grocery shopping, you got to put your groceries in the front trunk, and not in the rear, because that rear compartment that I showed you behind the engine gets really hot really fast. So I learned the hard way. You don't want to transport ice cream or any cold produce or anything like that, or anything frozen back there. You want to put that in the front, and so that kind of can limit you a little bit. But that front, I got to tell you, I fit. So sometimes, because I have a lot of groceries, and maybe you got a case of water or whatever, I have to divide and conquer. I got to put the cold stuff and maybe the big case of water and stuff up front, and then I got to put the rest of the stuff in the back. But like I said, just be warned, it does get very warm back there. Driving in the rain, no problem. The thing handles great. The C7 that I had, I pretty much didn't want to drive it in the rain because I didn't trust it. It just wasn't something that made me feel comfortable in the rain. I felt like the car was ready to let loose when it was dry out. So this car, driving in the rain, no problem at all. Have had no traction issues, nothing. It's been unbelievable. And handling wise, it's great. I'm really trying to think of some of the other things that might be issues for me. It feels small. That I will tell you. People, say, they know I've had, bigger cars before. I've had the Challenger, and I've had a couple other bigger cars, and of course all my other cars are big trucks. People see this next to my Raptor, and they're like, that thing looks like miniature, and it is small. And there's small cars that don't feel small, and then there's small cars that feel small. This is a small car that feels small. For some reason, although I think the dimensions are close, this feels smaller than the Ferrari 488. The 488, the 458, I don't know if you guys seen those videos, but those cars feel bigger. Like I said, I don't know dimensions-wise if they actually are bigger, but they feel bigger. This car feels small. I don't know why, because the front end is very short and the rear isn't that deep. So maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that lends to that feeling. But in some of those other cars, especially like the Challenger, that thing was like a boat, but you felt like you had a lot of hood, felt like you had a lot behind you. It just felt good that you had a lot of real estate. God forbid an accident, you had some real estate and some metal behind you and in front of you. This car doesn't give you that feeling. And people who've been in this car with me have also said the same thing. It feels small. I don't know if that's something that you care about. Some people just feel more comfortable when they have more metal around them. And but I do wanted to let you know, because it's a review, and maybe you're someone who's considering buying this car. Just so you know, if you like that feeling of like a big vehicle around you, this is not gonna make you feel comfortable. It's gonna probably make you make you feel uncomfortable. But it is what it is. It's a nice departure for me from the Raptor and the Denali 2500, and even the Jeep, which is an unlimited, lifted with 39s. Like I said, that's like things like a tank. So this is a big departure from that. This definitely feels like you're in a little bit of a go-kart. Now, when people ask me about this, how do I like this compared to the C7? That's one of the things I'll tell them. When I was in the C7 Corvette, I felt like I had a big car around me. I felt like the front of that car was nice and big, and I felt like the back end was beefy and big, and I just felt comfortable in it. I really did. I felt comfortable. I felt very safe. I don't want to say I feel unsafe in this, but I definitely feel the size of this. I notice it when I'm driving around, and when you're driving and there's lots of big cars and trucks around you, you're a little bit more mindful of the size of the vehicle that you're in. So you guys know what I did for a living before, and I've seen some bad accidents in my time. So I'm always cognizant of that when I'm in a vehicle. Now, the one thing I'll tell you with regard to comparing to the C7 is that the C7 had that full trunk. Obviously, it was a front engine. The trunk of the C7, I felt, was huge compared to this. So I would say, without a doubt, you could fit more in the back of a C7 than you can in the front and back of this C8. And I know that because I've taken the similar trip in both cars, and I had, I think, the identical amount of baggage. And in this Corvette C8, I barely eked it out. But in the C7, I had plenty of room. And the C7 also, because of the depth of that rear compartment, it let you get bigger, longer things into that space. So you could put beach chairs, you could put a beach umbrella, you could put longer bags. I mean, it was great. This, you're playing Tetris every time you're trying to take a trip and you got a lot of bags. Beach chairs, I haven't even tried, because I don't even think you can get them in here, so I haven't even tried. Maybe one, but I don't even think you can. Forget two. So unless you like going to the beach by yourself and you want to sit on one of those little round pieces of cloth. So those are some of the things, using this as a regular car, I know people want to know about. So just be mindful of that. I know there's a lot of people who are going back and forth between C7, C8. If you want to have a car like this, whether it's your primary car or it's just a toy, sometimes you want to go somewhere and do something with your toy. Obviously, you want to go to the beach or you want to take a trip. And if you can't take stuff with you, it's kind of like pointless, you know? So I would say I like the usability of the Corvette C7 more so than the C8. If I wanted to go somewhere, it was never a, how am I going to fit this? How am I going to finagle this? It was just open up the back and I put everything I wanted into the back of that car. No problem at all. With this, you're always kind of thinking about it. You're always thinking about how you're going to pull it off. And it's just a little, you know, you got to do some work to figure it out. It's time. You guys, by the way, this Jocko, no fake sugar. It's awesome stuff. Not sponsored. Just being truthful. And great energy. So, thinking about the C7, C8, I do like the C7 better for that. So, I like the C7 better for the storage and the port, being able to port items. And I also like the C7 because it felt bigger. It just felt like a bigger vehicle. It didn't feel like a little go-kart. So it's obviously a completely different look. That's a whole nother story. Handling wise, the C8 is way better. Acceleration wise, I feel like the C8 is better just from a safety standpoint. It's better. I don't feel like I'm gonna fly off the road. Looks wise, I gotta tell you, this car gets a lot of looks. I don't care about that. I drive cars for me now at this stage of my life. People looked at the C8. It's the C8, and people looked at the C7 too. I mean, I had little kids come up and ask questions about the C7. I've had people come up and ask questions about this, how you like it, whatever. It's nice. I don't care about grown people, but I always like when little kids come up and they're kind of like wide-eyed and they want to take a look in the car and they're with their mom and dad. I always say, go ahead. I let them hop in the driver's seat and look around and whatever. Because when I was a kid, when I saw like fancy cars like that, I was dead broke. And, we were poor as hell. And, when you saw a rich person and they had a nice car, it was always like a dream. And, I was always scared as a kid to go up or ask my mom if he could take me up, whatever. So I always try to throw it out there. If I'm parked somewhere and I see a little kid looking and the parent or the mom or dad is looking, I'll say, hey, you want to bring him over? You want to bring her over? No problem. And just kind of, let them go check out the car and whatever. You could make someone's day, and you never know, that could, in some situations that could make that person's day, and it made my day as a kid once in a while when I had to do it. So that's why I enjoy that. So yeah, I mean, that's a nice part of having money and having nice cars and toys. That's the part I enjoy, sharing it with others. I think that's an important part once you have wealth, is to share what you can within reason, of course, and then share your experiences, which is another thing. If you guys have any other questions about my daily driving experience of this car, let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer any questions I can. The team always reviews the comments and will, let me know if there's a comment that involves this vehicle specifically, or else the generic ones they answer, the 221B team. And that's really it. I don't know what channel this video is going to go on. I leave that up to the team. So if it's on my personal channel, the 221B Tactical channel, I don't know. So you can check out 221B Tactical, or you can check out the other channel. It's up to you, wherever you're going to see it. I hope this video helped anyone who's considering buying this car. Make sure you like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And most importantly, you always want to have a goal. If this is a car that you want to get, you can put it in front of you, print a photo out of it, and keep it in front of you on your desk, whatever. And we're human beings. We're driven by going after things, and that's how I got to where I am today. I kept my goals in front of me always. I was always looking at them. I was always, keeping them front of mind. So if this is a car that, if you have money and you can go get this car tomorrow, great. But if you're someone who is young and is trying to make it, or maybe not young and trying to make it, make sure you keep this in front of you. I don't know, screenshot part of this video where I was going around the front of the car, screenshot it, print it out, or put it as your wallpaper, whatever. I don't like stuff on digital. I like paper in front of me, on my desk, on my nightstand. And keep it in front of you, because, you keep that in front of your mind. That's how you get it. That's how you manifest it. And that's how it's going to become a reality in your world. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. And like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll see you next time.